What's an excuse to call off work that a boss can't argue with? I was halfway through the lunch rush at the restaurant when my phone started vibrating nonstop in my apron pocket. I almost ignored it. My manager hated when we checked our phones on the floor, but then I noticed it was my son's daycare calling for the fourth time in 2 minutes. The second I answered, I heard panic. Miss Carter, your son collapsed during recess. He's having trouble breathing. The ambulance is already on the way. Everything around me went silent. The clatter of dishes, customers talking, the music. I yanked off my apron and headed for the back door. My manager blocked the hallway. Where do you think you're going? My son collapsed. They're taking him to the hospital. He folded his arms. We're short-staffed. Every server has some family emergency when it gets busy. I stared at him. I said my son is in an ambulance. He shrugged. If you walk out, don't bother coming back. For a split second, I thought about rent, about my car payment, about how I'd finally caught up after my divorce. Then I remembered my little boy crying every morning because he hated inhalers. I pushed past him and ran. I don't even remember the drive. I just remember begging every red light to change. When I reached Mercy General, they had already taken him into the emergency department. A doctor met me outside. Your son suffered a severe asthma attack. His airway almost completely closed. I felt my knees buckle. If daycare staff hadn't used his rescue inhaler immediately, this could have ended very differently. They let me see him an hour later. He looked impossibly small under the hospital blankets. An oxygen tube rested beneath his nose. His favorite dinosaur pajamas had been cut open by the paramedics. He smiled the second he saw me. Mom, did you leave work? I nodded. His smile disappeared. I'm sorry. That crushed me. An 8-year-old shouldn't think he's the reason his mom might lose her job. I kissed his forehead. You'll never have to apologize for needing me. That night, after he finally fell asleep, I checked my phone. 9 missed calls, 1 voicemail, then a text. Since you abandoned your shift, your position has been terminated. Return your uniform by Friday. I just stared at the screen. 6 years. Perfect attendance. Covered holidays. Worked doubles whenever they asked. Gone in 1 text message. The next morning, while my sister stayed with my son, I drove back to the restaurant. Still wearing yesterday's wrinkled uniform. Everyone went quiet when I walked in. My manager looked annoyed. I thought I made myself clear. I didn't answer. Instead, I placed a clear plastic hospital wristband on the counter. He frowned. What's this supposed to be? My son's admission bracelet. He picked it up. The words critical respiratory distress were printed in bold across the top. His expression changed immediately. I didn't know it was that serious. I looked him straight in the eye. You never asked. Nobody said a word. Even the cook stopped working. He cleared his throat. You can have your job back. Take the rest of the week off. Paid. I shook my head. That's not what bothers me. He blinked. You decided I was lying before hearing a single sentence. I glanced around the kitchen. How many other parents have you done that to? No one answered. One of the assistant managers finally spoke. Honestly, probably more than we should have. My manager looked around and realized every employee was watching him. Not one person looked like they agreed with him anymore. A week later, corporate scheduled a meeting. Apparently, several coworkers had reported what happened after I left. 2 weeks after that, our employee handbook changed. Any worker facing a verified family medical emergency could leave immediately. No threats, no arguments, no punishment. Managers weren't allowed to question them until after the emergency was over. A month later, another server got the call every parent dreads. Her daughter had been rushed to the hospital after falling off the monkey bars. She didn't even have to explain. Our new manager simply took her apron, hugged her, and said, "Go, we'll figure out the rest." Watching her run out that door without fear made me realize something. Sometimes the best excuse isn't an excuse at all.